What an absolutely gorgeous day. It's busy. I dog on this town a lot, but damn, on days like this, when people are out, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So many gorgeous places. It's a shame more people don't get to see it. As gorgeous as it is out there, it's been way too hot for me. Times are changing, but I'll get to that in a second. I need to start getting out more, man. Once upon a time, my mate Chalky and I used to walk absolutely everywhere. I mean, everywhere. We vlogged about it too. We just pick a random place in the vicinity of the town that I'm in now, which is Lowestoft on the east coast of England. And we just say, right, cool, we're going to leave at whatever time in the morning, let's go. And we would just leg power there, you know, trails, footpaths, wherever, walking along main roads if we had to, get to where we wanted to go. There and back, usually one day, leg power. And that'd be like, oh, hey, let's go to Lound, let's go to Somerleyton, let's go to Great Yarmouth, or let's go to Beccles, like towns or villages around this town, and just generally have a laugh, chatting shite as we get there. One of them was just literally, hey yo, do you fancy going to Galston for ice cream and donuts? I was like, yeah, alright. We just went to go and get ice cream and donuts. Took all day to walk to get this stuff, but it was really, really fun, and we got to show people all the different stuff along the way. One time, where were we going? I think we might have gone through Somerleyton, and we went to Lounge first. We were like, oh yeah, you know, let's have a pint or whatever, and the local pub was shut. And then, oh no, was it we were going to go to Somerleyton? So either, is it the King's Head, Duke's Head? I'm butchering that. People in Somerleyton will jump up and down, shout and scream and have a go at me for it. But we were going to a pub in Somerleyton, right? But let's just have a pint. But when we got there was a wedding. And so the bar staff weren't going to give anyone, like the regular patrons weren't really supposed to go in and drink. We're not regular patrons anyway, but we met the bride and groom, and they're like, yeah, come in, where'd you come from? I was like, oh yeah, we just walked from Lowestoft. And they're like, are you mad? Have a drink. But we declined the offer as nice as it was. We had a chat with the bride and groom, and on the way back we went through Lounge, and there was some random convention going on, so the pub there was shut. I was like, god damn it, we're just gonna have a pint. But it was fun. And we show people all these cool little places that most people wouldn't go, and got some exercise in the process, because why not? The journey is more important than getting to the destination. Don't be in such a rush to get to the destination. You know, the destination is usually a 6-foot drop. Don't rush. You got to enjoy the bits in between. And it's like when people go to major cities, you know, when they're holiday makers and stuff, right? And you just, oh, let's go to London, and you travel from wherever it is, you know, bumfuck middle of nowhere. You go to London, but you don't actually explore London. You just go to the cool places that you've seen on telly or whatever. Or, hey, let's go to Edinburgh, and then get kicked the shit out of by Scottish folk. But there's so many little nooks and crannies really cool little things you'd find if you actually looked about. I spent many a year living in Norwich City. Some of the cooler places in Norwich City weren't on the main streets. They weren't on the high streets. You know, this town I can make it look pretty nice. But the actual main part of it, the high street, is shit. You have to go through all the back streets, alleyways and that to find all of the cool little bits and bobs. And that was one of the things I enjoyed doing with the walks with Chalky. I might have to see, he wanted to make videos about that kind of stuff back in the day, but he just never got round to it. Might have to ask him, like, hey, oh dude, before we become crippled and old, do you think we should maybe do a few more long walks before we both end up wheelchair bound, mate? It used to be, what was it, Modkin the Gnome on YouTube. He's now Kevlar Gnome everywhere, I think. So, you know, might be able to convince him to throw together some random vloggy, sightsee kind of stuff. But that would be neat. I'd like to do that very, very, very much because, well, that ties into the change. Sorry, I'm sticking around with a paintbrush. But I had a romantic meal for two with the wife this evening because just couldn't be bothered to do anything else. It was too hot. And we sat down and watched this random TV show about, what was it, Keep Breathing, about this lassie who's in a plane crash and she's stranded in the middle of boondocks, middle of nowhere, trying to figure out what she's going to do, trying to come to terms with her demons and stuff. There's some nice lines in it. It was fine to start with, but became horribly predictable, like an episode or two in. So, I mean, I was pretty much saying character lines before they were being said in the show, but it was alright. But we sat down and we had a romantic meal for two, Burger King. There was lots of it. It was our last supper of sorts. It's going to be the last junk foodie thing we have for a while because, well, it just is. Some changes need to be made. And I was thinking actually before I hit record on the camera what it was that made me think about this specific change. So first off, we're not actually supposed to eat junk food in this house. My wife has a condition where there's so many foods she's not supposed to eat. And if she eats them, it just makes everything just terrible for her. Like swelling and soreness and stuff like that. She's quite badly arthritic too, and so, you know, you're not supposed to have sugar and all this kind of stuff. But the last 2 years have been kind of shite for people, right? I mean, it's been terrible for us. It's been shite for most other people too. And so we just kind of, the junk food has been just a nice, well, it's a guilty pleasure. We're not supposed to have it, but we're having it anyway. So we have to have something nice, you know, and that was one of the things. Because I don't drink or smoke, and the wife will occasionally buy pouch of tobacco, but outside of that, you know, we're pretty clean. Well, the wife had a chat with me today about some quality of life improvements. She went swimming with the boys today, and she basically uses it like a kind of hydrotherapy. You know, so she can get a bit of extra exercise without stressing out her joints and her back and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to, just a quick word of warning, if like people haven't done hydrotherapy before, that's like swimming or physiotherapy, physical therapy in a pool. It's just supposed to take a lot of the strain off of joints and weak muscles and things, and you get resistance training from the water. And she said how she'd like to go to the gym. Again, one of our local gyms has a pool. I think most gyms have pools, but she wanted to go to the local pool, and she figured out that a session was going to cost XYZ amount. She wanted to go 3 times a week, but it would be cheaper for her to get a membership to the gym. She's like, I don't really want to spend the money. Things aren't tight, but, you know, it's really it's not a luxury, it's a health thing. But, you know, she was like, oh, it's kind of a luxury, really, you know. And it's like, well, look, if you're going to do this for the whole health thing, why don't we spin off a bunch of the fast foody stuff anyway? Plus, I said I'll do it too, because I said a wee while ago how I'd like to get back down to 63 kilos. Now I average out at 66, 67, or 66 and 6, but, you know, whatever. Who's counting the points, right? And one of my friends said to me, because I said I'd like to get back down to 63. She said to me, it's all fine and well getting down to 63, but your diet is absolutely shit. I won't deny it. I like food. I like burgers. I like pizza. I like Chinese food and Indian food and just all sorts in great quantities. And so she basically said to me, well, hey, yo, you know, why don't you bin off the burgers and that for a month? For like the month of September. I was like, all right, let's do that and watch as my weight doesn't change at all. Realistically, it should do, because where I've become less mobile, less active, I'm burning less calories. So my weight is kind of holding where it is because the calorie intake hasn't dropped any. In theory, I should be putting on weight. I think I maybe put on an extra kilo, which isn't fun. But and I have an issue where I tend to have not so much pain, but I get really sluggish and lethargic over 10 stone, so 140 pounds or 60 some odd kilos. Like around 66 kilos is kind of my max. I just get really achy, lethargic and unwell. I love food though, but I've said, all right, I will bin off the extra stuffs, the sugars and the burgers and the pizzas, and we'll do it for a month and we'll see what happens. The wife has now said she will do the same, and then we can use the money saved so then she can go to the gym, because fuck me, we spend a lot on takeaway. I won't deny it, we spend a lot of money on takeaways, but it tastes so good. And then we'll see where things go. We'd like to realistically get it to the point where the wife can improve her quality of life. Like, let's say she's here now. The idea being that if she's capable of getting it up to about this level, as she gets older and inevitably health will degrade, she can drop back down to the level she is now in the future, rather than being where she is now, struggling and then dropping lower and having an even harder time of it. Make the changes now, boost up, and lockdown isn't so much of a thing now. It isn't a thing anymore. We can go and do what we want again. If she wants to go to the gym, if she wants to go to walks and stuff, fantastic. That'll be great. And now I can say, oh, then fine, I'm going to eat nothing but salad and watch as my weight drops a couple kilos. It's going to be fucking miserable. But we'll do it for the lols. We tried different diets for the wife before lockdown and stuff happened, but as I say, when lockdown and that happened, we didn't stick to it. So see what we can do. Find something that's pleasant. Find something we can stick to, and go from there. It's not to say that we won't have takeaways and stuff again. Just the frequency will be considerably reduced. But yeah. And just another warning as well for anyone about the hydrotherapy thing and the pool thing. Being in a pool makes that kind of stuff easier. You don't realise though, when you push yourself over the limit, you're less likely to feel it. So you're more likely to overwork yourself. So if you do ever have like a medical condition where you need to go to hydrotherapy or whatever, or do stuff, pool is a great way to do it. I've got a bust up left knee and my back's pretty short and all that, and I had to spend a few years in hydrotherapy to be able to just do and be. I've got a blown right shoulder as well, so it's very easy to overdo it in a hydro session, but well worth it. So, and if that means I have to cut out some burgers to make things better in the grand scheme of things, I'm cool with that. But I'm gonna head off because I keep getting fucking distracted. So, hope you're well. All for the greater good, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck in